Homelessness 2.0 day, 26? Yeah, 26. Now, why would I have an establishing shot like that? What would be the purpose in doing something like that? What on earth is on Justin's mind? Why are you so disgusting? Well, all very valid questions. All accurate questions, because I am disgusting. There's one thing that I'm thankful for. I didn't say I was thankful for anything yesterday because I didn't feel like it. And I didn't feel like I was thankful for anything. So why be forced to say that you're thankful for anything if you're not feeling it? Why do you have to dig into it and try to figure that crap out? Let it come to you naturally. Screw that shit. Especially when there's people around you trying to force you into doing it. You gotta say you're thankful for something. It's like, no, you don't. You don't have to do what other people want you to do. Even if there is something healthy about that, it's also unhealthy to force people to do shit they don't want to do. If I can't think of something, what's the point in trying to force me to think about it? Or anybody else? And I say me, and I'm trying to be a proxy for anybody. And also, I'm obviously talking about myself. But the anti-work movement, the subreddit, r/anti-work, is one thing I'm thankful for. Because, and here's where it comes into play, we need to flush the current system. I don't care if 90% of the jobs in the world become automated. I don't give a shit. Do it. Make them all automated. I don't care. You should try to unionize. However you can. Know the rules, know the laws. Know that if you do attempt to unionize, your employers know the rules and the laws better than you. And they have a better playbook. And one of the reasons I'm bringing this up is because today I was considering buying a few things on Amazon, but then I went to the anti-work subreddit and I saw that people were striking, and I'm like, good. Keep me in check, keep others in check, and especially keep Amazon in check. Amazon must pay. Everybody must pay. More than 8 years ago, on Comedy Central, on The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, there is a clip of him responding to a woman saying, $15 an hour? Why not just make it $1,000 an hour? Why not? And then he says something and he goes into the hyperbole and he's like, why not give them unicorns and cocaine or something like that? 8 years ago, people were begging for the same thing people have been fighting for now. Which is why people have decided to move the goalposts. It's 25 an hour now. Especially now with inflation being as big as it is. Obviously, that's been on everybody's minds. But you know what? The worker isn't the one who should suffer inflation. The employer should. If your CEO is making billions of dollars a day, potentially, why should you have to suffer? Why shouldn't they? Why shouldn't they get a pay cut? That's how it works when you're a business owner, right? You own the business. You try to do what you can to make sure that your business proliferates, succeeds. So you do what you can. You pay people well so that they stay, So you don't have to worry about turnover. You don't have to worry about knowing whether or not this person is going to steal from you or going to do something violent or whatever BS. You get to keep the people that you trust. You pay them. They stay. They do a good job. And you do well for them. And in so doing, your product or your service continues. It doesn't suffer death, and you didn't miss out on this investment opportunity. Instead, you thrive. Pay the people at the bottom well, you'll have a better chance of thriving. And in this really, really, really interconnected world, people can communicate with each other a lot easier now. And so things like commentary about unionizing can be done without having to be literally in person. I remember when I quit my first job, and I say my first in the one that I actually was working, not, hey, I worked at Wendy's for a day. Because that wasn't a job, that was just stupidity. But it's indicative. I mean, if I had been aware of how to ascertain red flags, but again, because I grew up with abusive parents and they were just red flags, dressed up as a human instead of, 3 children dressed up as an adult man, I would have understood where my working world was going to go. Because when I worked at that Wendy's that one day, those, I think, 4, maybe 6 hours tops, I was not under any impression that I would be working on the register. I never got trained to work on the register. The training at the register, because I was in the fries later, but I was under the impression that whatever was going to happen is I was going to be trained. My training at the register happened because I guess somebody else wasn't there when they were supposed to be. I wonder why. My training was probably maybe half an hour, tops. The manager was there with me for 30 minutes, basically doing all the work and expected me to know it all. I was 15, I believe. So 25 years ago, mid-90s. I couldn't record it or take photos of it or anything. I didn't have technology on hand to be able to make this process easier. I just had to memorize this shit. And I didn't because my memory sucks. My next job is my real first job, which is when I was working at a grocery store that's local to the Dallas area. And I worked as a package clerk. Basically, what I did was I stocked stuff in the store as needed. Most of the time, I was standing at the ends of the conveyor belt at registers, packing up people's groceries. I was the person asking paper or plastic. And I did a good job of it. They trained me how to do that, by the way. They trained me how to be a package clerk. There were hours of a day set aside to teach 16-year-old me how to put groceries in a bag. And you might think that that's ridiculous, but you'd be surprised how many people screw that up all the time, including actual cashiers. I have gone to stores where another person bags my groceries for me and they screw the whole thing up. Now, I don't have watermelons on top of eggs yet because I don't buy those things in combination. But the average person doesn't know how to play 3D Tetris. I didn't know how to play 3D Tetris with the groceries. I got trained how. And that's despite me having a knack for putting puzzles together. I used to put puzzles together all the time when I was a kid. I'm gonna take a shower in a bit. I haven't taken a shower in 4 days. Yeah, Justin's disgusting. And then at the same job, when they offered me the opportunity to be a cashier, I declined it at first. I didn't know if I wanted to do something like that. I felt like it was too much responsibility. It's part of me, questioning myself and my abilities. But after, and that was right around the time that my stepdad died, I believe. And then I went to the military academy in the summer in the butt crack of Texas, Harlingen. Because it's sweaty as fuck down there. Spent 9 weeks, came back. And with not even that much extra pressure, if any, I then submitted and said, yeah, let's go ahead and do the cashier thing. They trained me for a whole week with other people to be a cashier, to run the registers, to know what 4011 means. I wonder if anybody knows what that means at a register. If you do, put it in the comments. Like and subscribe, ring that bell. Not like this information really matters, but whatever. But I had to memorize a lot of product codes and all sorts of other stuff and procedures and shit. And the way that I was able to remember those things, now I didn't remember them all. I mean, I still had books next to me. And that's another thing. I had books with information next to me at the register. So even if I screwed up a process or I forgot something that was about the process was there at the register. But we spent 5 8-hour days training to be cashiers. That's unheard of now. And sure, minimum wage was crap back then. But when you're a teenager and you don't have responsibilities, you don't have a bunch of bills, you can save up. That's, it's good. It's not necessarily acceptable. Our minimum wage still needs to go up. I don't care who is working the job. And I'm sorry, McDonald's, is that just a job for teenagers? Because let me ask you something. Where are the teenagers between the hours of, let's say, 7 a.m. and 5 p.m.? Because they ain't working at McDonald's during the week. They're going to be at school. And then, typical minors aren't allowed to work until, they're not allowed to work until after a specific amount of time, depending on not only state, but, federal laws. But let's just say 11 p.m. I know they're trying to push that right now. I think it was either in Wisconsin or Minnesota. It was somewhere up in the Midwest. They're trying to relax their child labor laws because not enough people want to work, or people don't want to work. And what is the anti-work subreddit really about? It's not about not working. That's me. I don't want to work ever. Somebody else said it. I think it was like a screenshot of a tweet. I don't want a career. I want to sit on the porch all day. It's me too. I want to do that. I don't want to work. I don't want to fight to survive every fucking day. And neither should you want that. You shouldn't want it for me or you or anyone. There are too many people in this country and many other countries that are literally 1 or 2 paychecks away from being in a similar situation that I'm in right now, which is technically homelessness. I might have a roof over my head. That means I have shelter. That doesn't mean I have a home. If you want to know what a home is from my point of view, let me tell you. Not only do you have shelter, you have a functioning kitchen with a full-size refrigerator. Some might say, why can't you just survive on a mini fridge? Because we're getting there. An actual functional stove and oven. Now, if you want to have, if you're going to have a tabletop stove, like a toaster oven, it needs to be high quality. It can't just be some piece of shit. It's got to be a high quality. It's got to be able to fit, I want to say 90% of the stuff that you would ever put into into an oven. It's got to be able to put in a whole full cookie tray. And there's reason for that. And I'll get to it in a minute. Ideally, a dishwasher. Laundry. Either in the unit itself or very close by. You shouldn't have to leave the property, really. Ideally, but not necessary, a separation between the kitchen and the sleeping area. Not necessary, ideally. Like, this one has an actual door, which I'm surprised. This is not normal in America. Probably because this is probably a refurbished house. Because they're doing construction on the other side of this thing. And it seems like they're probably going to make another Airbnb there. And they probably, got the funds to do it for me. Who knows? But a bathroom, like an actual bathroom of your own, not one down the hall that's shared with 30 people. The same thing with the kitchen, not a shared kitchen. Now, there are people out there who might think that, and I'll get to the point, I'll clarify here in a minute. There are people who think that, living in a commune or whatever is home. And cool. I don't think they're typical, though. The reason why I want all those things, and I personally think, and I would say that it's probably a pretty good guess that most people are on board with the majority of what I'm saying. Oh, and at least 6 months of living in the same place. All of those things, and I kind of threw that out there as sort of dismissive thing. That's really important, actually, the 6 months. Because when you're actually homeless, it's because you don't have a stable place to live. But what is stable? Well, for me, 6 months at least. I need to know that I'll be living in a place for at least 6 months. And I have to have done so for at least 3 months. So I need to have been at a place for 3 months, knowing that I'm going to be there for another 3 months. Why does that matter? Because homelessness is uncertainty. It's not knowing where you're going to take a shit. Bathroom. It's not knowing where your next meal is coming from. Kitchen, refrigerator, stove. There is a lack of independence despite how much you may be alone when you're homeless. There is a huge lack of independence. You are often relying on other people. I'm not saying that relying on other people is bad. What I'm saying is independence should be at the forefront when you are living in a home. Because if you are dependent on another person, that may mean that your toilet and your refrigerator and your stove and your roof may not be there in another 3 months. When you can rely on yourself, you have been at a place for at least 3 months, preferably like 6 though, to be honest, knowing full well that you'll be there for another 3 months, and again, preferably 6. I say 6 total because after 6 months of having been somewhere, or at least having that window of 6 months, you can take a breath. You can know that if in the middle of the night you got the runs, you only have to go maybe 20 feet. You don't have to stand up, get out of your tent, glance around, hoping nobody's going to see you, and then go take a shit 5 feet away from your tent so you can smell the crap. And then, of course, just like at the beginning, you get to flush. So it's not there, stinking up the place. There are a lot of homeless people who have roofs over their heads. I'm one of them right now. And there will probably be a lot more soon. When you don't have a job, it's hard to get a home. When you don't have a home, it's hard to get a job. And when jobs don't pay you well enough to even live in the region, what are your options? Is this a turning point? Are we in the midst of a huge world crisis? I don't know. I hope we are, honestly. I hope change happens. I hope it happens just gradually enough, but also just fast enough. So a nice little balance where it actually puts real pressure on employers to be like, wait, things are actually changing and it's bad. We got to do something about it. If enough people, like if everybody quit all at once, that would be awesome, but terrifying. But if more and more people quit or get terminated, do less than minimum. Get fired. Make them get rid of you so that you can get the unemployment. Be the change you wish to see in the world. That's attributed to Gandhi. Typically. There may be somebody else, I'm not sure. And I'm trying to do my best to practice what I preach. Yesterday I didn't go to the store. Today I will not go to the store. I will also not buy something online. I might buy it online tomorrow. I'm gonna go to the store tomorrow. I'm not going to go crazy and buy a ton of crap that I don't need because I'm not stupid. And neither should you. You should not be stupid about your spending habits. Don't buy something just because it's on sale. You didn't save any money. Buy it if it's on sale and you need it. If you need a brand new laptop, because your old one is so damn slow, well, okay, that's understandable. If you want to buy a laptop because your current laptop's 2 years old and this one's just a better deal than the one that you got last time, fuck off with that. Wait another year. They'll be better. That's the fun thing about technology. You wait a little bit, it's better. Like, I bought a phone last year. Is it the most ideal phone? No, it's a 4G phone. 5G is better, but the longer I wait, the better 5G will be by the time I get my new phone. So I'm thankful for anti-work. I'm thankful for the people there. Oh, I didn't even finish my story. That was the thing that I was trying to get at. I completely skipped over the fact and how it was related to anti-work, but hey, I'm back to it now. So when I quit my job at the grocery store, I had worked there for about a year as the package clerk. I took that time off. I took 9 weeks off, by the way. I took 9 weeks off. And then I came back, and they still promoted me to being a cashier. That in of itself would never fucking happen right now. I wasn't paid, of course. I was a teenager. Who cares? The fact that they were like, hey, yeah, come on back. It's cool. But I want to say maybe a month, possibly 2, after I became a cashier, the manager, who was the pretty much the reason I liked that job in the first place, because he was a great dude, he got promoted, moved elsewhere. We got another manager who was a total asshole, Mr. Tisdale. He was such an asshole that he mandated that we come in at like 5 a.m. on the day after Christmas to work. So later on, when one of my friends quit their job, I was emboldened to quit mine. Didn't call, didn't come in. At least I don't think I did. I know I didn't come in. But like the day that he was supposed to go to work, he didn't go. And I was like, well, fuck it. And, I respected and admired him and probably put him on too much of a pedestal as it was, but that was my own problems. When he quit his job, that gave me not only the desire to fulfill me quitting my job, it gave me the go-ahead. And to relate it back to anti-work, the more people who see it, and there are more and more people joining the subreddit every day, the more people who are going to be like me, who are going to see somebody quit a job, and they're going to be empowered to do the same. Hopefully they'll have another job lined up that pays them better. If they don't, well, that's up to them. But I think it's more than just for the individual. It is sending a message to people. There are plenty of people out there right now trying to gaslight and tell nobody wants to work. Most people kind of want to work. Most people also want a work-life balance. And most jobs are not providing it. Your job probably isn't, in fact, providing a good work-life balance. If it is, great. But don't shit on other people for quitting because their job is giving them shit work-life balance, or mistreating them, or not training them for the job to do it, or not even getting them to do the work that they hired them for. Hey, I want to be a server. Nope, you're going to be a host. Hey, you're going to be working in the back. Nope, you're going to be up front at the register because somebody's not here today. There's a reason to quit jobs. There's a lot of them. And I hope if you're thinking about it, just do it. Have fun.